Chris.
Hi, I'm Dr. Manal Fakori. I know our city is only as great as our most vulnerable citizens, and that's why we must partner with local organizations to fight the rising numbers of homeless people. By shifting to a housing-first approach that centers on getting folks back on their feet and getting them the help they need, we can turn the tide. I believe in taking action and working hard to solve our problems. On September 21st, vote to reduce homelessness. Vote for Dr. Manal Fakori for Mayor of Ocala.
Hello, I'm Jay Musley, and it has been an honor to serve on the Ocala City Council. Our tax dollars are investments towards making Ocala a great place to live, and I am the only candidate with the record of putting the needs of Ocala residents and families before the special interests of a select few. I think experience and personal investment in the community is important. I have worked hard to promote jobs and make sure we invest in public safety. That is why I ask for your vote, Jay Musley, on September 21st, paid for by Jay Musley, nonpartisan for Ocala City Council, District 3.
That's right. It's In the Garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. She joins us every Tuesday right here on WOCA, The Source. Carol Ann, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tom. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I came chock full of questions.
Yeah, good.
But let's first talk about the tropics have heated up.
Yes, they have. Yeah, we are in that peak season.
Yeah, hurricane formed off the coast of Texas just in time to go to landfall to become a tropical storm again.
Right.
But it's going to be a heavy rainmaker for an area of East Texas and West Louisiana that doesn't need rain.
Doesn't really need much rain.
Mississippi's going to get rain, doesn't need rain.
Yeah.
Alabama, Georgia, they don't need rain.
Nobody needs any rain right now.
And they're talking about the Chattahoochee. If this storm gets into Atlanta, that the Chattahoochee could maybe look at running over its banks.
And that's
a Florida water. That's a Florida water tributary.
So it's in a way it's a lot of rain now, but it's filling the groundwater resources and things like that. So I know a lot of runoff when it comes down heavy, and in the quantities of rain, the inches that are supposed to be, that I think Texas is supposed to get. I think they were saying upwards to 20 plus inches
20 to
over
25
the course,
inches.
over
right.
the course of this storm. And
because it's a slow-moving rainer.
That's a lot of water. It's still a lot coming down during a short period of time, and so you do have a lot of runoff. But hey, it's refilling lakes if they've been low, if they've had any dry times. I know California'd probably love if we could send some that way.
Typhoon towards them, they'd probably like it.
They would probably, they'd probably be grateful. It is what it is. On that we also have another one coming off a coast of Africa that
and there's one out by the Bahamas that may or may not form.
Right.
It's a busy time.
It's a busy time of year.
That leads me into one of my questions.
Yeah.
Dr. Cardinale, I saw him last night, and he has some rain barrels.
Yes, yeah.
And he says, how's the best way to collect? Should it be you just leave the barrels open and the rain fills them up, or do you put one in a drain coming off your gutters? Then once you fill it up,
how do you use it?
Yeah, how do you use it? How long is it good for?
Usually most people will do a rain barrel, and they actually make diverters for a gutter system that will allow that first bit of rain that takes all the dirt and nasty off the roof and just shoots that and gets rid of that, and then the rest of the rainwater going down into your rain barrels. You want a screening over the tops of those barrels. A lot of times people will formulate them with a lid that only has the room for that gutter to empty into. It helps to keep the mosquito issue down, and raising those barrels up off the ground so that you can put a little hose bib in there to where you can connect it, so you can actually use it. Putting it up high enough to fit your watering can or your bucket up underneath there to be able to use it. Best of my knowledge, the rainwater is good it doesn't necessarily go bad because you're not consuming it. You're using this
right.
on plants. Maybe after several months, you might figure that it's starting to get stagnant.
Especially in the heat and
in the
everything in
heat and
Florida.
things like that it getting stagnant. And of course, when it's hot out, we're usually getting plenty of rain.
Yes.
Which gives us that back and forth. But if you have houseplants and you happen to live within, say, the city limits, or you have a water softener system, you don't want to use that tap water out of the house on your houseplants because it has the chlorines or the salts and things like that that can build up and be detrimental to the houseplants.
Right.
So it's nice to have the rainwater to use.
How about I know a person that has a reverse osmosis system.
Okay.
And they water their house plants with the water from their reverse osmosis system.
That should be okay because I don't think that uses anything but a filtration.
Yeah, it's a charcoal filtration.
Right. So that's fine. That's just removing.
It takes out the chlorine and the lime
and the
stuff.
lime and things like that. Right. So with something like that, you're fine. It's just when they have the softener systems where you're using the salt pellets, or you have a city water, kind of thing that we all know city water. I mean, they have to be chlorinated.
Right.
It sits in a great big tank. It needs to
bleached.
be clean.
It's
It's
bleached.
chlorinated. Right. To a point, up to a point. In some areas, I mean, I remember years ago they actually said
It's not swimming pool
water.
bleach, but close.
No, but it's funny because totally unrelated, but I remember several years ago it was like, who has the best water, meaning municipal, within the state? And Ocala's was one of the number one best tasting
That's
waters.
when Jeff Halcomb was the water czar here.
Could be,
Yeah.
could be.
He's now down in Fort Myers.
Right, so now
I
they
bet
have the
Fort
best
Myers
water.
has
Has the
pretty good
best water now.
Very good
But
water.
if you have houseplants and things like that, especially those are going to really benefit from that rainwater that you've collected, or patio plants where you would be connecting to a hose to water, and if that was part of your household water system. I would say that the water is pretty well indefinite, except you can get some algae to build up. But if you have a dark colored barrel, it's kept covered, has a screen to do that. When it starts to get really low, if it's possible, you might want to take it off, dump it, hose it out.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to use bleach, use vinegar. Vinegar is a very good cleaning.
Apple cider vinegar is very good.
Or just plain old white vinegar. You can buy it by the gallon. It's inexpensive.
$1.50.
Throw some salt or some sand in there so you can, and take a broom and swoosh it around, hose it out, set it back up. But your rainwater is now if you in the city, you don't usually have to worry about this, but if you happen to be in a county and you have a well, and should your power go out and you've got your rainwater barrel, guess what? You still have you've got bathroom water. Yes.
Bathroom.
Yep.
Somebody said, what's the advantage of having a pool if you live in the county or something? I go, pump goes out, bathroom.
Yep.
Everybody said, when the hurricane was coming through 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. I had the house I was in, I had a pool.
Irma was 4.
Yeah, Irma.
4 years ago, yes.
Was it yesterday?
Day before
yesterday.
yesterday.
It was September 12th. Yeah. So, but when Irma came through, somebody goes, did you fill your bathtubs up? I go, dude, I got a 24 by 12 pool.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, I used that pool water, believe it or not. I would scoop that pool water out and put it in a pot, and I had the grill outside.
Okay.
And I would
make warm water to wash.
I would boil the water, and so it boiled the chlorine out of it.
Right.
You boil the water, get it up to a rolling boil.
Right.
And then we would use that to wash dishes with.
Right. Yeah. Use it as sanitary water to throw out the house. Yeah. You kept your other water that your bottled water, for drinking water.
Right. The drinking water was the bottled water, and we used the pool water to do
for
everything.
Everything else. Right.
And somebody goes, well, but didn't that? No, because a hurricane had come through, and the pool was overflowing.
Full. It was full. Yeah. And even kiddie pools and things like that are handy for those. Yeah, they're not really that deep, but any vessel. But no, your rainwater, and we a lot of times talk about lightning, being a benefit to rainwater.
Right.
And it is, and it does that in that rain barrel too. But I think that's a short-lived plus.
Certainly.
The ionization is very short-lived. I'm going to say probably 24 hours.
But rainwater is still the best water.
It's still the best water for your plants.
If you're a gardener or something like that, you do plants, you do gardening.
Right.
Rainwater is much better than anything comes out of the hose.
That exactly. And if you've got a well, you're doing okay. But the rainwater even still has has different minerals just because it's passing through the air and the atmosphere.
The one beautiful thing about where we're at, because I grew up in Callahan, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
In Callahan, Florida, we have this problem up there in Callahan. It's called sulfur.
Yeah, sulfur water.
And it smells like rotten
And
eggs. And drinkable wise, it's fine.
Yeah, you just got to let it sit out. So
drinkable wise,
yeah,
it's fine.
yeah.
But it's just.
It stinks.
Right. Now, when you make tea with it, boil tea and everything, you
right,
boil it.
Right, exactly. You make a pitcher.
Right.
You make a pitcher of water, let it sit out, and the odor dissipates.
Exactly. So, but the one thing beautiful about Ocala, because we're an aquifer opening here, is the limestone cleans water so good.
Yeah, you just have a lot of lime deposits in the water.
Yes, and you see that on your shower when you have a glass shower door that you can't see through.
Right, and your coffee pot or
exactly.
your glasses if you're not
Right.
So, but vinegar's great for that as well.
Let's take a call real quick.
Sure.
You're on with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Good morning. Hello.
Morning.
Good morning.
There he is.
Morning, Hugh.
How you guys doing?
Good.
See, I use my bottled drinking water for my house plant, and it seems to be doing very well. I know I called recently back a month or so where the leaves were kind of turning a little bit of funny color, and I was actually overwatering my plant, and so I cut back a little bit, and it saved my plant, and it's doing real good. And I think it just loves that bottled water.
Well, and again, if you're in an area that's got city water or even a community water source, a lot of times that too is got chemical treatment in it. So yeah, bottled water. But I mean, it's just as easy to go, oh, guess what? It's raining. I'm going to go ahead and collect up a bucket of water, even if you take and then pour it into a gallon jug or something and go, this is for the plants inside. That works as
still
well.
the best water is rainwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I live in Ocala now, and I get city water now. I don't know what they put in that water, but I'm sure there's some chemicals added.
There has
so
to
just
be.
To play it safe, I use the bottled water.
Yeah, for your house, for your plants and stuff. But that's what I said. When it's going, oh, you know what, it's going to rain this afternoon. I'm going to stick that basin outside and collect up some water for the house plants for this week when I need to water again instead of using up your bottled water. I mean, I know it's probably not a whole lot that you're using any given week, but to me, it's just just as easy to collect up a little bit the good stuff.
Yeah, last week I was up in Wisconsin near Milwaukee area, and beautiful weather in the 70s every day. And there's a tension. The leaves are starting to turn a little bit. You can notice it, and the mornings are nice and cool. So fall is on its way, and hopefully it'll get here by October, anyways.
It's getting to be fall. Somebody sent me this meme the other day.
Yeah.
It's getting to be fall. You know what that means in Florida?
Absolutely
nothing. It's 95 degrees outside.
You live in Florida, yeah. The date will change on the calendar. Well, I mean, fall is coming. The days are getting shorter.
Yes.
The nights are getting a little bit longer.
The equinox will happen.
Right, on, what is that, the 21st
21st
this month? Of this month. So fall is on its way. But, we have had a few cooler mornings.
Yeah,
where
it's
the
been in the low 70s instead of the high 70s.
Right. Well, I think it was a 70-degree morning, though it didn't last long. But the humidities were down in the morning. So so the mornings have been very pleasant, at least for several hours. Yeah. So.
You know why I live in Florida, right, Hugh?
Well, I got an idea. You like this radio program?
Yeah, no, it's because it's too damn cold anywhere else.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he couldn't wear flip-flops up north. Yeah, in the snow.
Thanks for the call, Hugh.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, there's 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Snowbird, hurricane, and flip-flop. That's pretty much it.
And flip-flop runs most of the season.
It runs most of the season.
Yeah, flip-flop and shorts. Thinking about, though, with fall, and I think we mentioned it last week a little bit on, our holiday coloring plants, our poinsettias we may have, our Christmas cactus.
Time to set them out and get the color to them.
It's time to make sure that wherever they're hanging out at, when it's getting dark at night, it's getting dark where they are. No porch light, no patio light, no reading room light sitting out. I have.
They need to be in the dark.
In the dark when it's dark out. That is how they are day length sensitive. So if your schedule brings you home at 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening and you've got the porch light on and that plant is sitting right there, guess what? It still thinks it's daylight.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a daylight bulb, it's enough brightness to make it think it's still daytime. So if you have to move things around on a porch, I actually moved, I have 2 potted poinsettias. I tucked them back on another part of the porch and I still keep watching because it's near a glass door that my aquarium light is turned on until they get an evening feeding and I turn that light off for them. So it's like, okay, I'm opening and closing that blind on that door just to make sure that the light is not coming out onto those plants in the evening.
Yeah, you make sure the blind, because any light.
Yeah, it throws them off. If you have a spare bedroom, if you happen to have any potted ones, we're lucky
Spare
here.
bedroom closet's always dark.
Yeah, or it's even right. Or if you can shut the blinds in that room for the few weeks, you don't have any company coming until the holidays.
Well, see, I got company coming at the end of this month.
Yeah.
I got company coming at the end of next month.
So you tuck them in it. Or I remember as a kid, my mom over summered a poinsettia that she had gotten for Christmas the year before, and it was you took the brown paper bag and you put it over top of
That's
it.
what my grandma was a big poinsettia. She kept poinsettias year in and year out, and you would go into her laundry room. And on the back side of the wall in her laundry room, and I say laundry room, it was a handy house.
Right, right.
And in the back side of the room would be 5 or 6, 7, 8 poinsettias with a stick in the pot to make sure that the bag didn't get on the leaves.
Right.
And she would cover them up with grocery paper bags.
Right, so sometime in September, and then you uncover it.
And they were the reddest, darkest green and red poinsettias you'd ever see.
Yep. And so right now it's like they should probably get their last if feeding on your Christmas cactus and then stop. They're coming into not just the bloom time, but also a dormancy. Mm-hmm. They actually they bloom and they will stop. They're going to stop growing. At that point, and so you don't want to push them to put more growth on. You're trying to get to get it to color up, to get it to bloom. And when things are trying to set bud, you don't want to fertilize them when they're setting bud because it'll just push that bud right on off.
So we got a Facebook question, I'm to understand.
Yeah, yes. Your lovely lady had
my wife sent this in?
Your wife sent this in.
Okay, first off, I got a problem with her sending it to you on Facebook and not giving it to me to ask you. That's my first thing.
Well, hey, it gave me a chance to put in. But no, she was asking about, the itchy, the runny eyes and things like that right now that, what am I allergic to? What's going on right now?
Dust and grime of the warehouse.
And even outside, because I've had a couple little bouts with the itchy eyes, and it's like, oh my Lord, let me go get the eye drops and take the allergy meds.
Are you sure it's not pollen? I mean,
I looked on 2 different weather websites, and they're going pollen's like none. It's down to nothing. I'm thinking molds, dusts.
As wet as it's been, it's not the pollen.
No. I mean, pollen is from the flowering plants.
Right.
But it's not really that time of year for our grasses to be doing, our trees to be having pollen. We're coming into that autumn season. A lot of times you just get that, the molds from the rains, and just ground is still wet and saturated. The dusts, we've had some of that Sahara dust. I think that's past us now, only because now we're getting that activity now again out of the tropics and off the coast of Africa. But just the dusts that are in the air. We've had some dry weeks that has brought some of that dust out. I know at the beginning of, usually in March, when we get that first spring rain, and it's not even spring,
right?
But it's like, oh Lord, there's 2 weeks worth of allergies because it just washed all the garbage off the trees down into the air, and I think we had that heavy rain the other week.
I don't know if she's noticed. Mm-hmm. I may have the answer.
Okay.
Because I noticed yesterday.
Yeah.
The pasture behind us, they're haying.
Ooh. Yeah, and the dust coming up out of that.
They're haying the pasture right behind us.
Yeah, that may be it
and
as
if
well.
you hay in a field, the dust coming out of that. And they've been haying it since last Thursday.
Okay.
Because it's a big field.
Yeah. And that is quite possible. Now, if it was springtime, I'd be saying, if it was allergies to the pollens that are prevalent in our area, local honey.
Our magnolia tree is blooming wild right now too.
Wow.
We got a lot of white blooms on the magnolia tree right now.
Nice. That's a late bloom on that.
Yeah.
That is a late bloom.
And so, and she sits out on the back
Yeah.
porch, and the
That
magnolia
has-
tree's
that has
right there.
Yeah, that has a bit of pollen within it, but I'm not sure whether or not magnolia is really highly allergic. But if you've got pasture there behind you that they're haying off,
They
that's probably where a good bit of it is. And plus, where her business is, it's an older warehouse,
It is.
and that you might consider a couple of air filtration units tucked in there. With washable filters that you can take out. And,
See, she's
do.
used to hot warehouses because warehouses, you
Yeah,
work in a warehouse
right,
environment
right.
really at the big
Yeah.
box store. It's not conducive to air conditioning.
No, it's
a lot of
right.
warehouses are hot.
Yes, they are, and so you're running fans.
Well,
You're running,
her warehouse, because she's used to it being hot, her warehouse is hot with fans running.
right.
so
So
it could
you're
be
blowing
moving- yeah.
all that bit of dirt and all the rest of
Yeah.
it. But I mean, if she's got a smaller office area that she does, sits down with the computers and things like that.
No, she does
Yeah.
all that in the warehouse.
Oh, in the warehouse too.
Yeah.
Okay, make a cubby around that. Put you a filter. Put one of them little room filter kind of things.
Yeah.
That might help. Yeah, with a big warehouse, it's kind of hard to put a filtration system in without going to large expense. But if you make a smaller office area, it might be able to be controlled to where you can at least get a little bit of
a little bit of
cleaner
relief.
air. Yeah.
A little bit of relief. It is because of pollen is a springtime thing mostly.
Normally.
But hay fever is something that can be year round because of somebody told me because people cut their grass year round in Florida, hay fever from grass can
grass
be
allergies
something all year round.
Right. Grass allergies can happen, I think, throughout the year.
Especially here because we cut grass year
Year
round.
round.
Up north, grass goes dormant. You don't cut grass.
You don't You don't start mowing the grass until April up
Right.
north, and you stop in September. So
and here you mow grass January to January.
Right. We don't do it quite so much in the wintertime, but so that part does usually go away. You get some relief during those times of year. But if it's a pollen issue, if you've had and you can get your doctor or. I want to say, I'm trying to think of who else does, like allergy,
Ear, nose, and throat.
ENTs, right, ENTs. Do the allergy thing. Find out what you're allergic to. If it is pollens, you can actually help to desensitize yourself without chemicals by consuming local honey.
Right.
Not the stuff you buy
'Cause
at
it
the
has
grocery
it's
store.
pollen rich.
It's pollen rich, and if it's local honey, buy it at your local farmer's market
Because
where
it's the pollen you breathe.
The pollen you breathe is the pollen you wish to consume in smaller amounts,
Right.
and it's like a spoonful a day. And I know my allergies dropped when I did that.
I never had allergies.
Seriously, yeah.
Until about 47, 48 years old.
Yeah,
allergies,
I didn't.
Allergies
I really
never
didn't
bothered
have.
me.
I was always allergic to poison sumac, and I was allergic. I want to say to pine pollen as a kid.
But nothing's ever bothered me. But from 47 now, I know in March, April, and May,
Yeah, you're miserable.
horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can take all the antihistamines you want and everything, all the headache medicine
Right,
you want.
right.
It feels like somebody has beat
Just-
you in the
just
nose area.
standing
Yeah.
on your face there.
Yeah.
And again, so you might be a candidate to try some of the
may
on
do
a
some
daily,
honey. I didn't
daily
know that.
basis on the local honey and the comb as well. If you can sit there and chew wax. I mean,
well.
I'm not. I don't
I
quite
chewed,
get into
I
that.
chewed, I chewed
Many-
wax.
many
I
wax
chewed, I chewed
lips,
wax
yeah.
Coke bottles and wax lips a long time in my life. Candy
Yeah,
cigarettes.
Oh, yeah,
hey.
yeah, hey, well, I think most of us who smoked started that was your
See,
your
and I
gateway.
never smoked.
Yeah.
I just ate the candy
You just
cigarettes.
puffed the candy
Yeah, I
cigarettes.
never ate- That and I knew I was going to live a long time because I've consumed trading card bubble gum.
Oh,
So,
yes, yeah.
If you can
That
survive,
cardboard, if you can survive the cardboard
you
bubble
can
gum
survive
at it, yeah.
anything. Hey, there's your chance to get in touch with Carol Ann Baldwin. 622-9622 is the number to call. We got another question
Yeah.
from Dr. Cardinale that he gave me last night that we'll talk about
Yeah.
after this break. We're going to take a time out. It's In the Garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. We're on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport. This is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Secretary of State Anthony Blinken made his first of 2 scheduled appearances before Congress this week over the deadly Afghan withdrawal. Mr. Blinken admits Americans are still left behind enemy lines in Afghanistan, and he has no idea how many.
Going back to this weekend, we had about 100 American citizens in contact with us who seek to leave Afghanistan. Those are the Americans we're working with.
Do you have an exact number?
I can't give you an exact number.
Hurricane Nicholas made landfall near Sargent Beach, Texas, Tuesday morning as a Category 1 hurricane, threatening to bring heavy rainfall and flooding to parts of Texas and Louisiana. Nearly 234,000 households in Texas have lost power. The National Hurricane Center is reporting a tornado or 2 will be possible today along the upper Texas and southwest Louisiana coast. USA.